Hello, I'm Cinemod470, and Berserk is a masterpiece. Though at first glance it looks like your typical power fantasy anime featuring a protagonist with a giant sword, the narrative and characters really show off its unique quality. For this video, I'll be covering the 1997 anime, mainly because it was how I was introduced to the property, and though it isn't the most accurate, it stands as the best adaptation of the manga and the best introduction to Berserk. And if you like what I do, subscribe if you haven't. It costs you nothing, but to me it means everything.
In a world of tiny objects, one man made a big discovery. What is that thing? What is he holding? No, I'm serious. What is it? I've never seen the show.
For those who've been living under a rock the last 30 years, Berserk is a dark fantasy manga created by the late Kentaro Minura. It tells the tale of Guts, the Black Swordsman, a wandering warrior out for revenge against his former friend turned demon god Griffith, while being hunted by evil spirits and demons. The 1997 anime covers a small snippet of the Black Swordsman arc where the manga begins and adapts the Golden Age arc which covers Guts' origin story. Guts was a mercenary for his entire young life, since he was adopted by a mercenary band during the 100-Year War between the Kingdom of Midland and the Tudor Empire. He eventually joins the mercenary group, the Band of the Hawk, led by Griffith, a young commoner and military genius. As they journey together, Guts rises to the rank of commander and slowly starts to form close friendships with the other members. While Guts lets himself be vulnerable for the first time in years, the Hawks are gaining more prestige and political power in Midland, much to the chagrin of the nobility. Though the Band of the Hawk are responsible for ending the 100-Year War due to a series of unfortunate events, they are branded as traitors to the kingdom, and Griffith is tortured to the point of cachexia. To achieve his dream of ruling his own kingdom, Griffith sacrifices the Band of the Hawk to the beings known as the God Hand. Griffith is not only healed, but joins their ranks, and an enraged Guts swears vengeance.
Yes!
All right, let's have a drink.
Hey, I'd like a hug too.
Though there are fantastical elements throughout the anime, the narrative mainly focuses on the more realistic aspects of medieval warfare, with open battlefields and sieging fortresses. Knights aren't portrayed as these chivalrous protectors of the weak, and nobility aren't humble leaders looking to benefit their kingdom, but are instead egotistical killers clad in silver. And though the fights are a little stylized, the series does take them seriously, especially in how quickly people die and how fragile the human body is, which really emphasizes the true strength and skill of the series' best fighters.
Come here, Mini-Me. Can I have a hug? I love you. You complete me.
Though the animation's quality isn't like today's standards, at the time Berserk was actually given what was considered a large budget for primetime television, and the 90s art style is quite appealing. The scenery feels unique, with the luscious greenery of Midland, the desolate desert surrounding Doldry, and the eldritch horror landscape of the God Hand realm. And the Black Swordsman episode has this dark, almost hopeless atmosphere, especially when compared to the bright colouring during the Golden Age episodes, which really helps distinguish the tones in the past and present. The anime also utilises still painted images to convey important events with the help of music and sound effects. They also illustrate the unique traits of certain characters, like Griffith's otherworldly beauty, Nosferatu Zod's ferocious strength, and Guts' unyielding rage. And Susumu Hirasawa composes the perfect themes for the series, to the point that they're still used to reference the characters to this day.
What am I doing here? What are any of us doing here? My God. Ow. That really hurts. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, The Meaning of Life by Guts.
When we first see Guts, he is a wandering swordsman, hunting demons and relishing in their suffering. But when we turn back time to the Golden Age arc, we learn that Guts was born from a hanged corpse of his mother and raised by a mercenary band. To ensure he wasn't just wasting space, Guts was forced to fight as a child, and since he had to practice with swords bigger than him, Guts gained immense strength and a proficiency with great swords. As he was gaining success in combat, his teacher and father figure Gambino was injured and could no longer fight. That in addition to the loss of his significant other Shisu, he went mad and tried to kill Guts. Guts then killed him in self-defense and was chased out of the mercenary camp. Since that day, he has been fighting to survive, but with no greater goal. At first glance, Guts appears to be relatively simple, a big sword to match his big attitude. But Guts is more than that. He's introspective and tries to be something other than a mercenary moving from battle to battle, especially when he first encounters the Band of the Hawk and learns how they're all striving for something, whereas he's just fighting because he doesn't know anything else and is mainly helping Griffith achieve his goal of having his own kingdom. Until he has to defend his comrade and future girlfriend Casca from 100 men. Now, defeating that many people single-handedly is a very impressive feat. I've seen enough dark fantasy to know that. But the significance of this battle is not Guts killing 100 men, it's his internal monologue wondering about his purpose in life. And it makes him realize that he wants to be more than just an assistant to Griffith's dream.
What am I doing here? In this miserable place. This isn't worth risking my life for. Am I fighting for Casca? No, that can't be it.
The tragedy of Guts' character is that over the course of the anime, he grows closer to the Band of the Hawk, while also slowly understanding what's been missing from his life that makes him feel whole. And Guts takes to heart that he is no longer a lone soldier and now a leader of men, so he adjusts his attitude to ensure his subordinates' safety. He's even willing to take on dangerous opponents by himself because he knows his comrades are no match for them. But by the end, when Griffith betrays him, he has lost everything and returns to his original loner persona, only instead of fighting random soldiers, he's hunting demons.
I don't need you to you little Pooh Bear. I don't need protection from a big, tough, strong guy like you. I've got a sword. I know how to use it. All right, I don't want to hear any more of your tough guy nonsense, all right? I'm going down there, and you can come with me, or you can stay up and be just a scaredy cat in the graveyard. Huh, scaredy cat, huh?
A lot of modern Western writers keep saying that they're creating strong female characters. What they're actually doing is making them overpowered and without flaws. This phenomenon is something I, as a high society cinephile, would like to call the misinterpretation of strength. Basically, writers put too much emphasis on strong and not enough on character. In doing so, it's impossible for the spectators to become invested in them since they don't resemble anything human, nor do they have any real challenges to overcome. When I first watched Berserk years ago, Casca surprised me because though she is incredibly skilled as a soldier and a leader, the anime portrays her as realistically as possible. Casca is a skilled warrior, but only because she spent most of her life fighting. She's arrogant, but later becomes humble, is love-stricken with Griffith, but learns to let go. She's able to take charge when the need arises, but slowly breaks down to the pressure. The best example is when she and Guts are sent into battle, but she appears sick, and this illness causes both of them to be separated from the rest of the army and have to fend for themselves. It is later revealed that Casca was on her period, and the anime doesn't shy away from it or treat it as some taboo subject. It's treated as a fact of what happens when a woman goes to war for months or even years. And the anime manages to weave in how she feels about her gender, especially since she is constantly comparing herself to Guts. It adds layers to her character without it being pandering. Berserk also uses these moments of character development to further the love story between Guts and Casca. In the beginning, Casca is antagonistic towards Guts due to his violent and often reckless nature, and because he steals so much of Griffith's attention. But as they continue their campaign together and gain an understanding of each other's violent histories, they become close friends and eventually lovers, because these two survivors can be vulnerable and have a sense of worth with each other.
'Cause I'm just a girl who can't say no, can't seem to say it at all. I always say, come on, let's go, just when I order say stop. When a feller wants to kiss a girl, I know she ought to give his face a slap. When a fella starts a kissing me, I kinda sorta wanna kiss him back. 'Cause I'm just a girl who can't say no, can't seem to say it at all. I can't say no.
Griffith acts as the perfect foil for Guts. He's seen as an angelic figure, while Guts appears as a violent brute. Griffith has dreams of ruling his own kingdom, while Guts doesn't have any dreams or ambitions and is just going from battle to battle fighting because that's all he knows. But the biggest difference between Griffith and Guts is that Griffith will sacrifice other people to get what he wants, whereas Guts will put his own life at risk to get what he wants. Griffith has all the usual identifiers of a mythological hero. He has good looks, he comes from poverty, he's a skilled swordsman, highly intelligent, brave and charismatic. He's even destined by a higher power for greatness. But Griffith is also highly calculating. He uses his charisma to get people to do what he wants. He'll utilize assassination and kidnapping to get ahead of his adversaries in the nobility. And he'll even use his body and natural good looks to seduce royalty to further his goals. As for how Griffith views his soldiers, he acknowledges they will help him achieve his dream, but doesn't view them as friends.
They are my able soldiers, it's true. They are dedicated comrades who sacrifice themselves for my dream so that it might be real. But that does not make them friends.
This monologue explains that though Griffith recognizes capable fighters in his army, they are but stepping stones to get him where he wants to go. The only real exception is Guts, because though he was recruited due to his skill, Griffith displays a clear concern about Guts' well-being. Griffith also treats Guts as a confidant and trusts him with his most heinous schemes, which is what makes their duel cut so deep. Though it started Guts' journey to discover his own dream, him leaving began Griffith's descent, as it was the first time he really lost anything of worth. After Guts leaves, and Griffith's body is broken, he then views Guts as an enemy. After being transported to the God Hand's realm, Griffith has a vision showing him being able to achieve everything he wanted. All he has to do is sacrifice those loyal to him. He then sees all the soldiers that gave their lives for his dream as cobblestones that lead to his kingdom. Griffith realizes the full quantity of people who have died because of him, and is told that there is no going back, or he will just become stepping stones for the next person. So, he sacrifices the Band of the Hawk to become one of the God Hand, because his ambition supersedes his loyalty. One of the biggest hot takes on the internet is that Griffith did nothing wrong, which is blatantly incorrect, but is a real testament to the layers given to Griffith's character. But the cold hard truth is, his only friend was Guts. The rest of the Band of the Hawk were only tools to help him reach his goal. Those tools were well maintained, looked after, and never misused, but if he had a chance to replace them with something better, he would. Because again, whatever positive feelings Griffith felt for his soldiers, nothing outweighed his dream.
In this world, for...
That's all. We don't need that stuff anymore. The show's over.
Who are you? I am the hand of God hovering...
John,
What?
thanks. That'll be all.
No, you have no control, not even your own will.
Whoa. No, it's the end of the series. That's the last...
But this is my will.
John, would you please get out of the booth?
Finishing the anime is always bittersweet, because even though we know the outcome, we can't help but get attached to the characters in the journey they're on. But you can't have a golden age without it ending in decline. However, I still maintain that the 1997 anime is the best introduction to Berserk. And if you're still interested about what happens to Guts, Casca, and Griffith, check out the manga. It not only has some of the best art I've ever seen, and several extra scenes that they couldn't add to the anime, but the new journey these characters take is cathartic, tragic, and addictive.